Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 5 p.m.
Now at 5, a key resource helping save lives in Central Florida has been hit with a cyber attack. Where their operation stands tonight. First, though.
There's this massive explosion. There's smoke in the air. It smells like gas outside.
Brand new surveillance video and 911 calls just coming into the newsroom. We're getting a closer look at the moment a laundromat explodes, and now 8 businesses are forced to change operations. Thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Mormouth in for Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. You're watching News 6 at 5. 4 people were hurt in last night's explosion at the Classic Laundromat and Dry Cleaner in Ocala. 2 of them were taken to the hospital.
And we now know Ocala Fire Rescue is considering this a gas leak investigation. It is a story we've been following since last night. News 6's Treasure Roberts brought you the first details on News 6 at 11.
And this morning, Mark Lehman was back at the scene, catching up with witnesses, even an employee who was working yesterday right before the explosion. So right now, News 6's Darrell Baker is picking up the story. He joins us live at the scene with a closer look at that new surveillance video. Darrell?
Yeah, Lisa and Justin, we were working to get that surveillance footage from you, but it had to go through the fire marshal first. They also are going to be investigating this right here. Now, they put up a gate to block all of this off, and that's because several of these businesses, even though they weren't as impacted as the laundromat, they are still investigating all of them to make sure that they can be opened back up. So there's a lot of businesses that don't even know if they'll be able to reopen after this. Now, I was also speaking with the PIO of the fire and rescue here out in Ocala, and they say that they are trying to make sure that they're working with code enforcement to make sure that the laundromat was up to code, and also making sure that that gas leak won't trickle anywhere else. Now, I also spoke with several of those victims, the family of the victims, and also I spoke with one of the business owners here in this lot, saying they're just happy that everybody is alive. Now, I actually spoke with India, and she says that they started a GoFundMe because not only did her boyfriend, and her mom lose several of their clothes, but they also lost their phones and some other materials, and they're hoping that the community can support them during this tough time. Here in Ocala, Darrell Baker, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Terrell, thank you. Well, more scattered showers on deck tonight. Can't rule out a thunderstorm or 2 as well.
Meteorologist Samara Kokinos is pinpointing what we can expect for us.
As we take a look here at the radar, we're starting to see a little bit more activity firing up late this afternoon, heading into the evening. So as we put this in stop mode and we'll go to now, and we're going to zoom in a little bit tighter, you'll notice that some of the activity over Osceola County tonight has been a little bit heavy at times, and this is mainly to the east of the turnpike, just outside St. Cloud. So you can see some pockets of heavy rain. That's still going to be possible as we head into the rest of this evening. As we zoom up a little bit to the north of that, you'll notice just to the east of 417 in Orange County, as well as portions of Seminole County, some isolated activity there too. So we're not talking about a whole bunch of widespread heavy rain tonight, but we will see it pick up a little bit more over the next hour or 2 before fizzling out. So I'll be back to walk you hour by hour what that looks like. Plus, we'll have an updated look at the tropics and that tropical wave we're all keeping an eye on coming up in a minute.
All right, Samara.
The need for blood never stops. It never stops. No matter what is going on, blood is needed.
That is the message from one of our area's largest suppliers of life-saving blood. Officials from One Blood tell News 6 they were hit by a cyber attack on Monday, impacting their ability to collect, test, and process blood. Investigators are looking into if any donor information was impacted in the breach. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison spoke with One Blood's Susan Forbes this morning, who says they are still using manual processes to stay operational. Things are just taking longer, which at the end of the day impacts availability and supply. Thankfully, centers around the country are stepping up to help in this time of need. Right now, there is no time frame for when things could return to normal, so they have activated critical shortage protocols, which is also impacting the 250 hospitals they service in the Southeast.
People need blood immediately. So it's not about maybe being able to say, well, maybe there's certain surgeries that can be postponed if they need to do that. But there are other people who need blood no matter what right now. And so this is about managing the supply at hand. And that requires, everybody to do that, not just One Blood, but also the hospital partners.
Because things are taking longer, they are putting out an urgent call for donors.
Donations continue to be needed. This is not something, this is an ongoing situation for us. So it's important that people continue to donate regardless of what is happening. Our life-saving mission must continue no matter the circumstances. So nothing is going to stand in our way of continuing to ensure a ready blood supply. We are working here locally and throughout our service area to make sure that our blood collections continue. We are working behind the scenes to make sure that donations are processed, tested, and distributed to hospitals as quickly as possible.
Despite the challenges, One Blood says donor centers are open and those big red buses are still on the road. You can head to their website, oneblood.org, to find a donation location near you.
To Flagler County tonight, where we are continuing our coverage of major beach renourishment projects going on to restore the dunes there. Earlier this month, we were there as crews put the final touches on a pipe to bring in more than 1 million cubic yards of sand to restore 3 miles of dunes on Flagler Beach. The coastline has taken a beating over the last few years between Hurricane Idalia last year and Hurricanes Ian and Nicole before that. But we've learned it's causing some confusion for sea turtles.
The county says wayward turtles have been crawling up the new dunes. Now they're trying to find solutions to stop them from doing that. News 6's Molly Reed is in Flagler Beach with their concerns.
Officials in Orlando are trying to breathe new life into a once bustling stretch of downtown. The Downtown Development Board is meeting right now to talk about making Church Street between Garland and the Sunrail train tracks a festival street. So the proposal describes the idea as a unique space that can be used to benefit people, the community, businesses for frequent gatherings and events. So trying something to breathe some new life into Church Street.
Yeah, it's a shame because when you do go down there, I love the older look of the buildings down there.
It's charming.
Yeah, and it can certainly be very walkable when there are big events at the Kia Center. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Don't forget about the canopy underneath I-4. That's probably a big part of that as well.
When is that happening?
Soon.
Down the road.
Never put a date on construction.
Exactly. Well, earlier this year, we saw a handful of instances of people driving the wrong way onto the highway, sometimes causing deadly car crashes. So next at 5, the new tools in place to help prevent some of those crashes. You're watching News 6 at 5, getting results. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by Launch Credit Union. Go beyond.
Having a pinpoint accurate forecast is so vital. We use the most advanced tools to examine those changing forecasts. Our powerful pinpoint Doppler radar constantly sends us updated data that we analyze. We take all that and turn it into information that you can trust, drilling down to your neighborhood, minute by minute. So while the weather is unpredictable, we're not. That's why News 6 can say, pinpoint accurate. I'm News 6 Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. The summer heat has been relentless across Central Florida, which is why it should not be a big surprise that July reached the hottest on record here in Central Florida. So let's pinpoint the rankings. Orlando sits at its hottest July, while Daytona Beach and Leesburg ranked as second hottest when averaging both highs and lows throughout the month. Now, meteorologist Julie Broughton will have more on how long this summertime sizzle will continue after the break. And I will see you tomorrow morning starting on News 6 at 5 a.m.
Already in 2024, several drivers have lost their lives in several wrong-way crashes on major Central Florida roads.
That includes the 429, which is part of the Central Florida Expressway Authority, the public agency that operates the toll roads, and has been at the forefront of technology since 2012.
It is getting results, but it can get better. And as News 6 anchor Eric Von Aken discovered, it is getting better at protecting our community.
I've actually interviewed those engineers at UCF who look at traffic safety and how to make improvements, and have worked with lots of Central Florida agencies. It is fascinating the work that they do. And yes, some of the solutions are high tech. Some are just kind of basic with signage and other mechanisms.
Anything to help, because it happens
Too often.
Way too often.
Yeah.
And every time it happens, it surprises me that it happens. And so whatever technology that we need to put out there to prevent just one is perfect.
Well, currently, the Expressway Authority's highly effective wrong-way vehicle detection system, that's the one with the flashing signs and immediate warnings, is installed at 2/3 of its exit ramps, the ones in the core of Central Florida. By next year, the Expressway Authority plans to have 100% of all the ramps covered. So far, the wrong-way system has detected almost 2,000 cars entering the wrong way. That is a lot. 1,700 of them turned around. So that's the good news.
That is the good news.
Yeah,
wow.
but still 300 did not. So,
Mercy.
some work to be done.
All right, meteorologist Samara Kokinas joins us now. Got some showers. Got any storms firing up at this hour?
We had a few, but it looks like they've kind of calmed down just a little bit. We had some lightning just over the Titusville area about 30 minutes ago. You can see it kind of fizzling out there, but I'm anticipating a few more showers or thunderstorms to flare up as we head into the next hour or so. Zooming in tight here to Osceola County, you can see St. Cloud getting a little bit of light to moderate and even pockets of heavy rain if you are on the east side. But for the most part along 192, definitely getting drenched there. But the Turnpike, nice and clear at this hour, fairly dry. When you take a look at the bigger scheme of things, all the way up I-4 through the Metro, Oak Ridge, Altamont Springs, going into Sanford, everything right now is to the east. But we are anticipating for a little bit more activity to move back to the west, and then, of course, again to the south as we head into this evening. But looking at Pearson right now, just to the north in Seville, they're getting a little bit of light to moderate rain fizzling out at this hour. Going into the Ocala National Forest, a few pockets of heavy rain there too. So what we'll continue to see over the next few days are scattered storms with heavy rain possible. Heading into the weekend, though, we're talking about heat advisories possible with heat index values anywhere between 105 to 110 as we see more moisture surging into Central Florida courtesy of that tropical wave that we're currently watching. So let's take a look at that wave, and you can see that the National Hurricane Center gives it a 60% chance of developing over the next 7 days. So we're talking about over the weekend potentially seeing a tropical depression develop possibly over the Cuba, possibly the Bahamas, maybe even near Florida. So what we're looking at, though, you'll notice that this orange area just kind of shifted. This is what it was just earlier this morning, but now what we're looking at as it shifts is the models beginning to kind of shift a little bit more to the west. So even with that scenario, now it's bringing the Euro a little bit closer to Central Florida, and that is going to up our rain chances. And even if it takes the GFS run, which is keeping it along the Gulf Coast, what would happen there too? Or we're going to see these bands of heavy rain move in that could definitely provide some flooding, given the potential, even if it stalls with that system to the north kind of not moving it at all. So we'll be continuing to watch that over the next several days for you. Starting the clock here at 5 and walking you hour by hour, notice that all the rain kind of pushes to the south and lingers along the central and southern Brevard County coast, where they definitely need some rain through late tonight. And then as we start the day tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Well, we're going to go back to that. Plenty of sunshine heading into the afternoon. So it's going to roll through Wednesday once again, going into Thursday. Here's what we're looking at. And starting the day sunny, heating up by noon. We're going to be feeling like the upper 90s to triple digits. And then as we head into the second half of the day, that's where we see a lot of the action. Now, your rain chances, they look around 30 to 40% along the coast, 50 and 60% across the interior. A live look at our light Orlando camera shows a beautiful sky out there. We've got up to 96 degrees. Here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast brought to you by Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
Your lows will settle in the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies. Taking a look and getting some results at your 7-day forecast. Here you go. 50 and 60%, even 70% for your rain chances as we wrap up the weekend. Highs in the mid 90s. Again, we'll feel like triple digits. We'll be watching for heat advisories, guys.
All right, Samara, thank you. We are celebrating Orlando's birthday tonight. So what is your favorite part of the City Beautiful? You can weigh in online, and we'll have the results next.
You're watching News 6 at 5, getting results. We'll be right back.
No matter what's happening where you live, trust Sky 6 to get you the bigger picture. Exclusively sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.
Curious about the weather? Jump into WeatherWise on News 6 Plus. It's your go-to for a deep dive into weather. Sure, I'll catch you up on the current conditions, but we are going way beyond that. Join me for WeatherWise weekdays at 8 a.m. on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com.
Want News 6 straight to your inbox? Sign up for your favorite newsletter at clickorlando.com/newsletter. Sign up for In the Loop Theme Park Scoops, Setting the Stage, and Florida Foodie, just to name a few. Sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
We are celebrating a big birthday in Central Florida today.
That's right. Today is the city of Orlando's 149th birthday. And doesn't she look great?
Definitely.
Right?
Beautiful.
The town of Orlando was first incorporated on this state back in 1875 with a total population of 85 people, only 22 of whom were eligible to vote. The origins of the name Orlando are still not entirely known. Today, the greater Orlando metro area is home to more than 2.5 million people.
And the city beautiful is the topic of our poll today. So you can take out your phones, scan the QR code right there. That's going to take you to clickorlando.com/react, where you can weigh in. So we want to hear from you. What's your favorite part about Orlando? We put a few suggestions on there: the food scene, theme parks, events, shopping, green spaces, parks. And right now you can see the top answer, theme parks. Almost half of you choosing that option.
You and I, being who we are, though, we have to dispute that and say the theme parks aren't technically
right.
in Orlando.
I was more focused on, and that's what I had a challenge of figuring out, okay, are we including that or the greater Orlando region? I was focused on the city, though.
All right, so we did want to share some of what we love about Orlando. Here's a picture that I found in my camera roll of my two boys who were both born in Orlando, walking along a lake in downtown Orlando. Of course, any sunset along a lake in Orlando is fantastic. And my beautiful dog, Lucy, who was also born in Orlando.
And he checks the box there with
the Orlando Solar Bears shirt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you checked a lot of boxes with that picture. That's a lot better than mine. I'll tell you
I don't know about that. These are pretty cute.
These are back in the day. 2000 is when this was taken. Epcot. So as a kid, a big fan of the theme parks. That was a big reason why I imagine I liked living in Orlando.
Yeah.
Today, I like this sort of scene.
More of the downtown scene.
Or just what all those neighborhoods offer.
And is that an Orlando Magic jacket
of course, that's another checkpoint there. So
love our sports teams in Orlando.
Big time.
All right. Well, talk about coming up an unusual election. On News 6 at 5:30, we are taking you to a community that's been without elected leaders for 7 months now. We'll explain why and why some are stepping back into the ring.
Go to clickorlando.com and sign up to be an insider so I can bring you exclusive contests, stories, and behind-the-scenes footage.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 5:30.
Now at 5:30, some good news on the financial front, maybe right around the corner. We're talking with an expert on what to know about today's interest rate announcement. But first, while all eyes are on the upcoming presidential election, there are several local elections happening across Central Florida this year. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. You're watching News 6 at 5:30. Matt Austin is off tonight. The town of Reddick will head to the polls next month after the entire town council resigned last year. And this came after state law required people in public office to fill out a financial disclosure form.
So that form, it's called Form 6. It requires elected officials on the city, town, and other local levels to disclose all financial holdings valued at more than $1,000. Governor DeSantis signed it into law last year, and that led to more than 125 officials across the state resigning ahead of the law taking effect on January 1st. Many of them claiming security concerns. Tonight, News 6's Emily McLeod is in Reddick ahead of a Meet the Candidates event for the town's upcoming special election.
Some major news when it comes to your money as many Floridians try to make ends meet. People looking to buy a home or a new car will have to deal with those high interest rates at least for a few more months. So within the last few hours, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announced interest rates are staying put, but changes could be on the way. That's because inflation has dropped from its peak of 9.1% in June of 2022 to just 3% last month. And in June, unemployment hit 4.1%, its highest level in 3 years. Powell says a cut could come in 2 months as long as the economy trends in the right direction.
If that test is met, a reduction in our policy rate could be on the table as soon as the next meeting in September.
All right, rates are at a 23-year high right now. And on the heels of today's announcement, we wanted to bring in Nancy Hecht with Certified Financial Group. Thank you so much for joining us and being here. We have talked so much about interest rates and whether they are going to be dropped or cut over the last, calendar year, right? Let's hope so, and then that might open the door for a whole new crop of potential home buyers as well, waiting for those rate cuts to drop. So
yeah,
we'll have to see. Nancy Heck, thank you so much for joining us and for offering us your excellent insight.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
All right, we do want to take a look now at what's trending on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Nearly a dozen historic sites across Florida are in jeopardy. We're looking at which are the most threatened and what's being done to save them as a sign of the times. One includes a shuffleboard court that could become a pickleball court. Also trending right now at clickorlando.com, Boar's Head is expanding its recall to include 7 million more pounds of deli meats tied to a listeria outbreak. There's an article there that you will likely want to share with your friends and family. And Circle K is offering 40 cents off per gallon. Our article breaks down how you can take advantage of that deal. Speaking of saving money, there's
40
one way.
cents.
That's pretty good.
And you probably all you have to do is sign up for their app program.
Probably
or
so.
whatever,
Probably have
their
to sign up
rewards
for
program.
something.
Yeah, but still.
Well, if you have traffic safety concerns, we have a traffic safety expert who has all the answers for you.
So tonight, a viewer asks Trooper Steve about the rules for e-bikes. Seeing those things pop up everywhere.
Absolutely.
They are popular.
Yes.
I don't know.
I like the traditional bike because I want the exercise. If I'm going to be out there doing that,
exactly. A little bit, but those things. Boogie.
Yeah.
Well, it's no secret we have a number of older Central Floridians. Our area is, of course, a great place to retire. So after the break, the issue a growing number of those residents may soon be facing. Samara.
Temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s still feel like the triple digits out there. I'll show you how long the sweltering heat sticks around. Plus, we'll have an updated look at the tropics and what it means for rain chances here in Central Florida.
And later, we're giving you a sneak peek inside the final themed land in Epic Universe. You're watching News 6 at 5:30. Getting results. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Good Greek Moving and Storage. Want the latest and most pinpoint accurate updates going on in the tropics? Then download the free News 6 Hurricane Tracker app. Sign up for push alerts with the most recent storm watches and warnings. Get instant live storm track models and local radar, all to help you prepare for what to do before, during, and after the storm. Tracking the tropics with News 6, and it's all in the palm of your hand. Just search WKMG in your app store. Meteorologist Jonathan Keggis pinpoints weather in your neighborhood, only on News 6.
It's common knowledge people choose to retire here in Florida. In fact, more than 5.5 million people over the age of 60 live in the Sunshine State. And that means we outnumber the senior populations of 20 other states combined. It's only expected to grow, too. The Florida Department of Elder Affairs predicts by 2045, the senior population will increase to 8.4 million, or more than 30% of the state. Important, because that is a challenge for not just the person who has dementia, but the family, the friends
as
well.
It's such an awful disease, and it impacts so many people.
It's hard to find someone who hasn't been impacted by dementia or Alzheimer's. All right, meteorologist Samara Kokinas is here now. Are we having some more showers pop up? It's about that time, Samara.
Yeah, it is about that time, but we have some drier air in the atmosphere today, so it's kind of limiting the coverage that we're looking at compared to the last couple of days. So when we look at the radar this evening, you can see some isolated to scattered showers just out there kind of fizzling out, a few lightning strikes near the coast. But for the most part, what we're looking at heading into the rest of this evening is the rain coverage going back down. So we'll fall from about 40 or 50% down to 20% after sunset, and temperatures will fall too from the lower 90s to the mid 80s, eventually settling in the 70s in the overnight hours. So what we're looking at in terms of rain over the next couple of days, scattered storms basically each afternoon with heavy rain potential moving into the end of the weekend. Heat advisories are also possible late week. We're talking heat indices in between 105 to 110 degrees as we see that surge of moisture from the tropics. And we're continuing to watch that wave. So let's take a look here at the National Hurricane Center outlook. Gives it a 60% 50% chance of taking on additional development over the next 7 days. So that's not in the 2-day range. What's happening is it's starting to get a little bit more organized as it combats that dust, where it's going to move to the west-northwest and move into warmer water. Now watch this. The highlighted area in orange, you're going to notice it moving back into a little bit more of the Carolinas. So you see that, right? This was the earlier run. Now watch this. It's going to shift. All of the models are making that westward shift. So that means we could potentially see more rainfall moving into our forecast. So when we look at the setup, have that Bermuda high kind of driving the system in, right? But then we have this area to the north that will kind of weaken areas of high pressure. And in between these two is where it could potentially stall, bringing bouts of heavy rain. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see something tropical right over central Florida. What I'm saying is model guidance is taking all that moisture up into the peninsula. So over the next couple of days, we'll be watching for possibly tropical depression to develop over, I would say, Cuba, maybe the Bahamas by the end of the weekend, heading into early next week. We'll keep you updated with all those changes. Now, your rain coverage as we head into tomorrow, you'll notice is at around 30 or 40% near the coast. My system, I think, is just frozen on me. Yep, I'm going to walk off set and just go ahead and advance that for you. Now, when you take a look here at the rain chances will be about 30 or 40% as we head into tomorrow. And that's mainly near the coastline. But across the interior, you'll notice that it's between about 50 and 60%. So here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
All right, and as we play forward here, you'll notice your overnight lows settle right around the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies. Now let's get a look at your pinpoint accurate 7-day forecast, getting you results. Your high temperatures in the mid 90s will continue to feel like the triple digits. Rain chances between about 50 and 60%, but notice that little uptick as we head into Sunday to 70%. That's where we could see that influx of tropical moisture. So we'll be watching that closely and updating those numbers over the next several days, you guys. This is something that we'll definitely keep an eye on and keep you posted with every change that comes our way.
All right, Samara, thank you. An Orlando native is fighting literally for Olympic glory.
And his debut at the games today, a smashing success. Sports director Jamie Say is here now.
Yeah, News 6 first featured boxer Amari Jones a couple of years ago as a Sonic Prep Player of the Week. He's now a graduate of Edgewater High, but Amari told us back then as we watched him train that he wanted to go to the Olympics someday. Well, he's in Paris right now, and he won his debut fight today, defeating his opponent by unanimous decision in the prelims. Jones, one of 4 boxers on Team USA, now moves on to the quarterfinals. He competes again on Saturday against Rami Kawan of Bulgaria. Now, Amari, who attends Valencia College, he's now 3 wins away from Olympic gold.
I caught the highlights, but a bunch of my coaches got up early and watched it. He's a great young man. He's representing Edgewater on the national stage in the Olympics, and he gets a chance to advance. And what a special story that is.
It absolutely is. That was Edgewater High School football coach Cameron Duke speaking for the entire Eagle community. They're proud of all that.
Excited isn't really the word to describe it. I mean, it's a different type of feeling because we'll be the first public school to ever do that, something like that. And I mean, you know, the history of Edgewater is just great. I mean, and we're going to go over there and, you know, really show what Orlando football is really about.
Everyone's ready. You know, the whole team's ready. Ready to go show what we can do. You know, energy's been crazy in practice.
All right, so that story was about the Edgewater High School football team. It kind of got cut off, but Edgewater High football team, they're also trying to conquer Europe, just like Amari Jones is. So in like 2 weeks, those Eagles are going to the UK to play NFL Academy in an exhibition football game. Edgewater is going to be the first public high school football team to play NFL Academy ever. So it's August 15th. There was a fundraiser today. We were there. You're going to see those pictures coming up at sports at 6 o'clock.
So much talent coming out of College Park's Edgewater High School.
Ridiculous.
But I know that we have been seeing that they need money to do that. So, yeah, I'm curious to know. Hopefully they're getting close to their goal.
Yeah, well, they had a fundraiser today, and they're going to keep on pushing that, you know, until they leave.
I'm sure
in about a week and a half.
Donations that they need.
Edgewater always
coming
good at
through.
Football.
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
good at football. Wow. Thank you, Jamie. Well, coming up, we're going to take you inside what you can expect at the Ministry of Magic Park inside Epic Universe.
And ahead at 6.
I'm News 6 investigator Mike DeForest. When you use a rideshare service like Uber or Lyft, it's a really good idea to check out the license plate number on the app to make sure you're getting in the right vehicle. But as we've discovered, some Uber and Lyft drivers are blocking their license plates with bike racks.
No, I think that's illegal. Yeah, that's not right. They shouldn't be doing that.
Perhaps the rideshare drivers simply enjoy cycling. But as our News 6 investigation reveals, some Uber and Lyft drivers may be blocking their license plates to rip off customers.
You're watching News 6 at 5:30. Getting results. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans. Bring a school supply donation during the Back to School Bash, Winter Park Village, this Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m.
Next ET, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, tell him you hate it.
Their epic ET prank. Plus Josh Hartnett's thrilling return.
Hopefully this will surprise people.
Next ET.
Tonight at 7 on News 6.
Don't miss your favorite News 6 podcast, Florida 4th Estate, Riff on This, Florida Foodie, and Real Talk Real Solutions. Listen when you want on clickorlando.com or download News 6 Plus to your smart TV to start listening now. Sponsored by Lexus of Orlando.
Well, July 31st has a lot of meaning in the world of Harry Potter. It is the character's birthday, along with the novel series author J.K. Rowling, and it's the deadline for Harry to reply to his Hogwarts acceptance letter.
You just got a crash course.
Did you know all
Potter.
that?
No, I didn't know any of that. Here in Central Florida, though, July 31st is when we finally got official details about the new Ministry of Magic coming to Universal's Epic Universe theme park. So the themed area will be set in the 1920s Wizarding Paris, seen in Fantastic Beasts movies. Haven't seen those either. But also a 1990s British Ministry of Magic from the Harry Potter films. It's like Mandarin to me, okay? There are several different experience and dining options throughout, as well as a Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry ride. So that's also something to look forward to.
Yeah, and we have a full breakdown of all the different parts of the Ministry of Magic in this article on clickorlando.com, as well as links to what we already know about the other 4 worlds that make up Epic Universe. You can also scroll to the bottom of the article to weigh in on what you are looking forward to the most at Epic Universe right now. Most people say Dark Universe. That has been changing, because a while ago it was Super Nintendo World.
I thought that one would be at the top of the list. Yeah, it's 28%, and then you have Ministry of Magic at 17%.
It's going to be a little something for everyone.
Now, here's the question, though. If not for the other 2 Harry Potter-themed worlds at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios,
number 1?
Perhaps. I think maybe, but that's why I was surprised to see Super Nintendo World second. I thought that'd be number 1 because we don't have anything like that. So,
well, coming up on News 6 at 6, we are staying on top of that massive laundromat explosion in Ocala. Some new video showing the moment that blast happened. We're taking a closer look at that video and hearing the 911 calls from people who heard the explosion.